Well, thank you everyone for joining. Welcome to Tone It Up Tuesday. And Stephanie and I are excited to be joining you tonight to talk about CoolSculpting and CoolTone. Stephanie is joining us from our CoolSculpting treatment room. And Steph, would you like to introduce yourself? You can unmute your line.
Hi, everybody. I wish I could see all your beautiful faces in person. I'm Stephanie. I've been here at the Bengtson Center for about 3.5 years already, specializing in CoolSculpting, CoolTone, and mirror dry.
Awesome. Thanks, Steph. So tonight we're very excited because we're actually going to be sharing with you all about these two technologies. I'm just going to pull up our presentation, and throughout the presentation, feel free to type in questions that you might have. We'll be addressing those as we continue. We also will kind of swing back over to the room with Stephanie and crew and be showing you some live demos this evening. So thank you again for taking some time out of your evening, and we look forward to sharing more. So as we go through tonight, the first place we really like to start is talking about the building blocks to achieving healthy skin. Here at the Bengtson Center, we have a variety of different skin solutions to address those concerns. This evening, we're really going to be focusing on body contouring and targeting those unwanted pockets of fat, as well as toning muscle with our new CoolTone device. In addition to in-person consultations, which we're excited to now offer, we are also continuing to offer virtual consultations. CoolSculpting and CoolTone are treatments that really are best to do a consultation in person, but if you're not quite ready to come in, we can absolutely start with a virtual consultation over Zoom and really discover what your goals might be and make sure that you're a good candidate for the procedure prior to coming in person and having that pinch test and full treatment plan pulled together. So where we'd like to start is actually looking at CoolSculpting, and it all started with a popsicle. So when you look at the science behind CoolSculpting, it was actually developed at MGH, which is Harvard Medical School. Scientists Dr. Dieter Manstein and Rox Anderson observed patients and children that had eaten popsicles and had started to develop dimples in their cheeks. And what actually ended up happening was with that long exposure to cold, those fat cells were selectively affected and basically eliminated from the body. So how I like to describe it to patients is thinking about putting a stick of butter into the refrigerator or even olive oil. Those lipids harden at a higher temperature than water does. So we can safely target your fat cells without harming your skin structures. And that's really what sets CoolSculpting apart. Additionally, CoolSculpting is a proven scientifically proven skin solution for targeting those unwanted areas of fat. When it first came out, we really were only able to target the abdomen and love handles. And as the technology has evolved over the years, treatment times have gotten shorter. We've expanded the areas on the body that we can treat incredibly effectively. And there's actually over 7 million treatments that have been performed worldwide now. So it's an amazing skin solution and fat solution in our practice. And we're excited to be able to expand those treatment offerings for you all as well. So is CoolSculpting right for me? That's one of the biggest questions that we get, and it really depends on what your treatment goals are. In just a moment here, we're going to buzz back over to Stephanie, and she'll talk a little bit more about identifying if you're a good candidate and what that consultation process looks like. So Steph, we're going to come back to you.
All right, so I have my lovely model here, Felicia.
Hi.
Have you raise your top. All right, so when assessing a patient, what I'm looking for is that nice pliable fat that I love, most patients don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pinch around. Her main concern here is her abdomen, her upper and lower. So what I'm looking for is subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous fat is that nice fat that we can pinch. Versus visceral is the fat that's in and around the organs that pushes out on the abdominal wall. So with Felicia here, pinching, and what I'm looking for is really the peak of the fat pocket. And my marker. So what I'm going to do is mark her, and I'll have you turn towards the camera. So you can see kind of right in here. I don't know, can you see on the? No, but you can see moving. So the beautiful thing about CoolSculpting is, of course, everybody's different. Our body shapes, the amount of fat we have in the area. So with that being said, I can fully customize each treatment plan per the patient. And fortunately, we have 5 different applicators that we can use, and they vary in size. So I'm just going to get her marked quick.
And so with that treatment area stuff, you're really covering the whole treatment zone when you look at the recruitment into those applicators, correct?
Exactly, yes.
And the clear templates that Stephanie is using right now actually give you an idea of the entire area that will be recruited into the applicator and chilled for that treatment time. So it really helps to even out those kind of peaks of the areas that bother our patients most. Do you find a lot of patients need this type of a diamond shape based on how their fat is?
Yes, I would say this is the most common stencil, if you will, for the abdomen area. But again, it depends on the patient and what they're looking for. Almost done.
Awesome. So we'll let you guys keep marking. I'm going to run through a few more slides here, and then we'll be back to visit you to view kind of the application of the gel pad and the applicator.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Thanks, ladies. Awesome. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the sidebar there. That kind of shows you a little bit about our consultation process. We actually take that information in regards to how CoolSculpting works and really develop a game plan. A lot of patients not only want to target the unwanted fat areas, but also want to target and strengthen their core muscles. So we see a lot of people interested in CoolSculpting and kind of removing some of that unwanted extra fluff. And then CoolTone is really the additional tool we use to kind of tone the area, strengthen those muscles, and we'll discuss some of the areas that we can target with both technologies. So here's some before and after photos. And when you're looking at before and after CoolSculpting, it depends on how many treatments the patient really needs. We typically really talk about treatment to transformation. And in all of the studies that were done, most patients want and need more than one treatment in a specific area to achieve their goals. That, of course, will be discussed during your consultation to really look at the different pockets that we'll be targeting for you. But treatment to transformation is a big achievement of CoolSculpting, being able to repeat the treatment in that area. And it typically takes about 3 to 4 months to see those full results. And we actually had a question too about how and where do we get trained on CoolSculpting. So we actually have local representatives. Our providers here at the practice have been utilizing CoolSculpting for years, and we actually have advanced training courses, CoolSculpting University, kind of teaching you the latest and greatest techniques. So that's really what sets the Bengtson Center apart is, we're not a one and done type of facility. When it comes to your body sculpting and contouring needs, we really want to make sure we address those and treat to transformation, not just a one and done type of approach. So, and some of these photos are from different practices across the nation. We continue to compile our before and afters as well. And of course, we always rely on our patients to allow us to utilize those photos to educate others. Here's some more before and afters. So CoolSculpting is really great for men and women, a lot of different body areas. And when you look at every part of my body, am I able to treat those areas? It really depends on where we're looking to target that fat. But the bra fat area has been very popular for a lot of our patients. This here shows you before and after 8 weeks following a treatment with CoolSculpting. Before and after 8 weeks, the arms is another very popular area. And it can be challenging when looking at, the lax skin that we have sometimes, because CoolSculpting is not targeting skin, but we are able to successfully remove the fat in those areas, and the skin typically bounces back really nicely unless you have a lot of laxity concerns. Here's another before and after 8 weeks following treatment in the submentum area, or kind of that double chin area. We have a variety of different skin solutions that we can use for this specific area here at the Bengtson Center, but CoolSculpting is a great one that has no downtime, very quick treatment, and that gives you an idea of some of the different body areas, and we'll visit some more before and afters in just a moment. Another question that comes up is, how many treatments do I need? So when looking at CoolSculpting, I think I mentioned this, but we do typically see patients requiring and wanting more than one treatment. But of course, that depends on what your goals are. So I would say, it's really dependent upon your consultation. And here's some more photos just showing, this actually shows after a second treatment in that area. Patients typically will see, we say, about a 20 to 25% reduction of fat. So if you pinch the area, pull it away, think about a quarter of that will be removed from the treatment zone. So 2 treatments, we can get a little bit closer, but eventually we will have diminishing returns where we just can't pull as much as we were able to before, which is a great problem to have. Here's a photo of one of our patients here at the Bengtson Center as well. We treated the abdomen area and love handles. So now it's time to chill. So we're gonna swing back over to Stephanie in our treatment room and share a little bit more with you guys about the application of the applicator. Go ahead, Steph.
Hi. Alrighty, so we're going to start Felicia's treatment here.
Great.
One of the most commonly asked questions is, okay, I'm getting down to -11, which of course is cold. How do I prevent frostbite? So with that, we use, it's a silicone-based gel pad, and that's really going to be the protection between the cooling device and your skin. So I'm going to place this on Felicia.
That probably feels a little chilly, huh, Felicia?
A little cold, isn't
Just
it?
a little chilly, but it's okay.
We have lots of blankets to keep you warm, and in between all of our CoolSculpting patients, we still want to provide a comfortable experience. So we're actually washing all of our linens like we would typically, but taking those extra sanitation processes as well to make sure everything's very clean for our next patient. So now that we have the gel pad applied, Steph, I know that you have the applicators all ready to rock and roll as well. Can you explain what comes next?
And I'll show you, for some of you that have never seen the CoolSculpting applicator, like I said before, there's 5 different applicators. 4 of the 5 look very similar to this, kind of with that cup shape. The 5th one is a flat-plated applicator, and that's used for more like the outer thigh area. Some patients can use it on abdomen. It all depends.
And so what will Felicia experience when she has that applicator applied to the skin?
So for starting, what happens is I turn on a vacuum suction. It's going to then pull the tissues, filling this cup here, isolating them. And then after the patient's comfortable, I apply the cooling. The applicator itself is on for 35 minutes. It gets down to -11. Most of my patients will sleep, read. We have Netflix in the room. I've even had patients come in here and they're on conference calls the whole time.
Awesome.
All right.
And if I wanted to, could I have all of those treatment areas done in one day? How does that typically go?
So there is a limit of 18 cycles in one day. Typically, most patients can get all of their treatment done in one sitting. Typical appointments are anywhere from about an hour. I've even had someone here 7 hours, but that's rare. Alrighty, are you ready?
Ready.
All right, so I have the vacuum suction on. You can see it's just going to pull her tissues, again, filling that cup. How does that feel?
It's okay.
Yeah?
Interesting.
Good. And we'll just get you comfortable.
That looks like a boppy.
It is a boppy, the traditional baby boppy.
Awesome. For our CoolSculpting baby.
Yes. Alrighty, and that's that. That's how we apply the applicator. Again, this treatment is about 35 minutes. We do have a nurse's call button. So if at any time Felicia feels uncomfortable or needs something, she presses the button. And I have a lovely little pager that rings, and I come right and answer her questions. The machine itself does monitor your body the whole time. So if for some reason her tissues don't cool enough, it shuts off, notifies me. If for some reason it's getting too cool in the area, it does shut off. So it's a completely safe treatment, and you're being monitored the whole time.
Great.
Ready.
Well, thank you. Good luck, Felicia, and hope you have some very cool results coming up soon. So that gives you an example of the different treatment areas. Those treatment times do range in between 35 and 45 minutes typically, and in between placement. This is really what's happening during your treatment as well. So as Stephanie mentioned, those fat cells are being frozen in a sense and injured to the point where they can't recover. And once they're injured to that point, they actually die and are slowly processed and removed from your body. So we're not able to address and injure 100% of the fat cells in the area. That's why a couple different treatments are typically needed to ensure that you get those great results that you're looking for. Here's some more before and afters just to show you kind of the back love handle area. We also treat the bra fat area and really looking at any of those unwanted bulges. So, and we have a question too about if all 4 sections are being treated, do they need to be done sequentially, one at a time for 45 minutes each? So we can break them up. We also have multiple systems here at the Bengtson Center, which is awesome because we can do dual sculpting. So depending on the areas you saw, there was a little bit of overlap on the abdomen, but if we have patients that want to treat their love handles and also treat their lower abdomen, we can actually position you a little bit differently, but still comfortably, and have 2 cycles being done at the same time. So there's some great ways for us to shorten your treatment times. And they can be broken up into different days. It really depends on your schedule and what works best. Here again, looking at that lower abdomen area, you can see just those distinct bulges, and following 1 or 2 treatments, they're very much so flattened out. All of these patients as well are within about 5 plus or minus pounds of their after weight. So that is important to note as well. We do want to make sure we weigh our patients and that we're not representing patients that have lost a bunch of weight or gained a bunch of weight, but you will still see nice improvement in those areas. So, and we talked about how long a treatment takes. So depending again on the area and the applicator that's being used, that treatment time is much shorter than it used to be. It used to be an hour for every single treatment. So we're excited to be able to move our patients through a little more quickly and get you back to your normal daily activities. Here's before and after 8 weeks following treatment. So, some of these patients are, I think, in great shape, but everybody has different areas of concern. And some people have areas that they want to address and just debulk a little bit or see an improvement in and just feel a little better in their clothes. So whatever your goals are, we can definitely pull together a game plan for you. Here's kind of that arm area again. We have patients kind of hold up their arms in a couple different positions to make sure that we get really consistent photos in those areas. So that gives you a great idea of what we're able to achieve with CoolSculpting. And the next question we often receive is, when will I see my results? So I've had my four sections treated today. When can I expect to see improvement? And some patients do start to notice improvement in as little as a month, but typically we see patients coming back at their 3 to 4 month follow-up. We take another round of photos. Depending on if you're doing an additional session, we can do that day. Or if you're transitioning over and you're going to be experiencing CoolTone, we can actually start your CoolTone treatment 4 to 6 weeks following your CoolSculpting treatment. So again, very customizable. We want to make sure that we have a game plan in place to help you meet the goals that you're looking for. And nobody is symmetrical, whether it be our faces or our bodies. So we also take the approach of marking and assessing the area while you're standing versus when you're laying down. That's very important. And then looking at how many treatments you may potentially need in that area. Here's another one of our patients, and ideally, if you can be wearing the same clothing, loose fitting clothing, all of that helps for us to take consistent before and after photos. And this photo is just amazing to me, a full body transformation that was after 2 treatments, and they treated the lower, the upper, and love handle areas. So we can do some really amazing things with this non-surgical skin solution, non-surgical fat solution. And it's been featured in the media for many years as well. So in New Beauty as one of the New Beauty Product Award winning treatments, and featured on a lot of different news stations. It's trusted by many physicians across the U.S. And here at the Bengtson Center, we've had it for almost 10 years now, and upgraded our technology all along the way. Awesome. So I would love, if anybody has questions, feel free to type those in the sidebar there in regards to CoolSculpting. CoolSculpting's been out for a long time. It's tried and true. We love it here, and our machines are always very busy. The next topic that we're going to be discussing is actually CoolTone. So CoolTone is also made by the company of CoolSculpting, and it really helps for us to strengthen our core muscles. And so we'll be going into some detail about CoolTone. So we're excited. We actually welcomed CoolTone to our practice right before the quarantine and kind of shut down. So we were not really able to fully launch CoolTone until just recently. So it's a great summertime treatment. A lot of gyms have been closed, and we have patients that are itching to strengthen their core while they kind of maintain their home workouts. So you can notice a whole new level of muscle toning and strength with CoolTone. And after your treatment, you'll notice the muscles in your abdomen, your glutes, your thighs will be firming. And we were actually the first in Michigan to receive our CoolTone device. So how does CoolTone work? It's a very unique sensation, and we'll be showing a live treatment here in just a moment as well. Stephanie's going to be moving over to our other treatment room where we have our device. So it's a very cool 30-minute quick treatment. We do those in a series, and we're basically stimulating those muscles using a magnetic motion sensor. So if you look at this picture here, you can see that magnetic field is activating and kind of tensing those muscles, almost like doing a ton of crunches. So we're bypassing the skin, the fat, the nerves, specifically targeting the muscle and really giving your muscles a really firm workout. These are the areas that we currently are targeting and treating with CoolTone. So when looking at the abdomen, the thighs, the buttocks, those are the key areas that we are seeking to improve and strengthen. And this is another treatment that we really recommend a consultation for in person to discuss your treatment goals, to take photos, and pull together what that looks like for you. On your treatment day, here's kind of what you can expect. So we apply an applicator directly above the targeted area. you'll feel that strong muscle contraction and kind of a tapping sensation. And the session usually lasts for about 30 minutes. During your consultation, what's really cool about the CoolTone system is we are actually able to do a demo. And it's just a minute or two of kind of what that feels like so that you know what to expect on your day of treatment. If the system's not in use, we of course would love to extend that to you as well. And here's some different photos of CoolTone. We have a question as well. If you do not complete CoolSculpting, can you still do the CoolTone? Can you do CoolTone with an umbilical hernia? Good question. So we definitely go through all of the different types of precautions, contraindications during your consultation. CoolSculpting cannot be done over an umbilical hernia, and that is one thing that, you know, unfortunately, we do need to avoid because of the suction of that device. And unfortunately, too, when you have a separation of the muscle post babies or pregnancy, or a lot of times, too, men that are big bodybuilders will start to have a separation of their muscles in the abdomen wall. And with CoolSculpting, we are not able to treat over those areas. So there's even some different recommendations for kind of around your time of the month women. So definitely consult with us. We can speak through those specific medical questions that each patient has to make sure that you're a good candidate for the procedure, and as well as seeing great results from the treatments as well. And here you can see all of these photos are after 4 CoolTone treatments. So what we do is we actually start your series. Those 4 CoolTone treatments are completed within a 2-week time frame, and they're spaced about 2 to 3 days apart. So that gives you an idea too of kind of what that treatment plan will look like for you in the amount of time. But again, they're very quick treatments. They're easy to fit in over a lunch break. And we see a lot of patients as well that want to continue kind of maintenance treatments following their series. So it's important to get your muscles kind of in shape with those 4 treatments. And then a lot of times people will continue kind of a booster treatment on a monthly basis, especially in preparation for, you know, big events or maybe a big birthday coming up. We can do quite a bit of planning prior to. And we can definitely do CoolTone without CoolSculpting. So that again depends on if you have areas that you want to kind of debulk or sculpt the fat, then we would do CoolSculpting first. But if you just really are looking for more strengthening of your core, whether it be physiological benefits or you're looking for you know, more of the visible benefits, then we can do CoolTone all by itself as well. Awesome. So now it's tone time. I'm going to have Stephanie unmute the line there, and we'll talk a little bit about CoolTone. Hi, ladies.
So we have Taja here. Taja is a perfect example of a patient who is ideal for CoolTone. As you can see, she's a thinner patient. Really the difference between CoolSculpting and CoolTone is CoolSculpting, again, is removing that fat, where CoolTone is directly targeting the muscle, creating that muscle stimulation. So I'm going to have you lay down, and again, we're treating her abdomen. All right.
And you can actually have CoolTone done
You
with your
can.
clothes
That's
on.
one of the nicest parts, because you can come in on a lunch break and go right back to work. So what I'm doing is I'm going to assess her just to see really where her rib cage is, because you don't want the applicator directly over any bone. So I'm just going to assess her. And really any reason why somebody couldn't and wouldn't be a candidate for CoolTone is if they have any sort of metal implants in their body. For instance, I have treated my abdomen. However, I do have a metal rod in my collarbone. So therefore, I still am a candidate because it's not directly over that metal rod. We'll get her all set up. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Great. And Tasha, you look like you're in awesome shape. So is your goal with this treatment just to kind of tone that already awesome abs
Yes,
that you
because I
have?
luckily didn't have too much that I needed to cool sculpt away. So just kind of toning it up to get a little bit more of a shape is ideally what I'm looking for.
Great.
Alrighty, so we're gonna start the 2-minute evaluation. Typically with patients, the goal is to get up to 100. However, sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. If for some reason you can't get up to 100, that's perfectly fine. You're still getting a great treatment. 30 minutes of CoolTone is equivalent to 20,000 sit-ups, which is amazing in my opinion, because I know I could never do that. So we're going to start Taja around about 30%. I'm going to see how that is for a couple seconds, and then we'll increase from there.
Awesome.
Good?
Great. It's tone time.
Oh, sorry. So for starters, what she'll experience is kind of like a tapping sensation, and what that's doing is it's warming up the muscles. So if you can think about, let's say, going to the gym and you start out with stretching or doing a light workout just to loosen up your body, it will then go into a contracting phase, which of course contracts the muscles, and then it will relax it. Excuse me. Sorry, I can't talk as well with my mask on.
I'll try.
No, it's okay. With after the contracting phase, it will then kind of go into a knocking, pounding, and what that's doing is it's breaking up those lactic acids. The lactic acids, as we all know, if you work out the next day, it's kind of hard to walk. So that's going to help prevent that.
Awesome. Good. Well, we'll circle back to questions here and look forward to talking to you guys shortly. Great. So the next question that we typically get to is how much do these treatments cost? What will the cost of the package be? We have package pricing available where we honor Bengtson Center discounts, and two of the special savings that we wanted to mention tonight are the trim and tone bundle, which actually is over $2,000 in BCAP savings, plus you'll receive an additional $800 off with brilliant distinction. So if any of you on the line have had Botox before, any injectables, Allergan has a really great patient discount program, and that means special coupons, and this is actually an instant dollar off rebate for your treatment. Then the cool savings is over $450 in Bengtson Center savings and a $500 off Brilliant Distinctions coupon with a purchase of 6 cycles or more. So again, during that assessment, we can really pull together a game plan of what makes sense for you. And during that time, while you're chilling or toning with us, you can actually experience some cool services as well. So we offer additional dollars off for any treatments that are done in conjunction with and during your CoolSculpting or CoolTone treatment. So we're looking forward to hearing from you all. If you do have questions, feel free to post those. And we just thank you for joining us today. So I'll zoom back to Steph here. She's in the room.
See you soon.
Great. Thank you, Steph. Hope you have a great night. Awesome. And again, if you go ahead, Steph.
Okay, so we just got a question about a copper IUD. The answer to that is unfortunately we cannot treat over a copper IUD. Excuse me. With the technology, it would go directly to that device, heating it up, which would make it super uncomfortable. However, with a Mirena, you can get the treatment done.
Great.
Thanks,
Good.
guys.
Yes, and any other questions that anybody has, feel free to submit those. You can send them to info@bengtsoncenter.com. And yes, we look forward to continuing this virtual series. One other question that we got, if you guys want to mute your line there, is are there any treatments for skin elasticity on arms and knees? And although CoolSculpting is not addressing the laxity, we do have other skin solutions in the practice that will address that. So when you're looking at specifically arms, knees, we do use a technology called Profound. And And that is a really great skin solution for that. So will we have a webinar on fillers? Yes, we will. So we actually have a couple surgical webinars coming up. Next week, we have one that will be talking about melasma and maskne. So how do we manage those? And then we will be having margaritas with Meredith next week too. So and we will have a webinar on Profound as well. Yes. So definitely keep an eye out, and please let us know. I mean, we're definitely open to your feedback. If there's a certain time of day that works better, if there is, a certain day in general that works better for you all, let our marketing director know. We always try to provide, ample time for people to plan, and definitely want to continue these educational virtual seminars to keep everybody in the loop, since we're looking to kind of limit, obviously, our person-to-person exposure, but doing that in a very safe way. One of the questions was, what is the cost per treatment area? Is it 2 treatments for each side of bra fat? That's a great question. It really depends on, how your fat is positioned. So we typically will have someone come in where we can assess and look at the treatment area, and with a bra that you would regularly wear on, and then also kind of unclipping that, we will do a little bit of a pinch test to see how we would best treat that area to reduce those. So it's a little hard to put a specific number of treatment areas or cycles, because there's a lot of different definitions that are used for that. But yes, we do have incremental pricing where, depending on the cycles that are purchased, you can tap into those special savings. Another question we had is, the first patient that had all of the areas marked on her stomach, will that be a 4 treatment or 1? So that would be considered as 4 cycles, because we are applying the applicator 4 times, 4 cycles in that area, and we were using the smaller applicator. That would be considered her first treatment when she completes all of those. So bilateral for the bra fat, yes, Melissa, that would be 2 cycles. But again, it depends on if you have just 2 pockets of fat on that side. In some cases, people actually have, a couple on each side. So that 2-pack or those 2 cycles could turn into 4 cycles, just depending on, how it looks for you specifically. So we always start by taking pictures, and then go into the consultation room and kind of discuss what the best game plan would be and do a pinch test at that time. So, well, please let us know if you have any other questions. Again, thank you all for joining us. We love this. It's been awesome. We love customizing the content, and really look forward to welcoming you all into the practice soon for your own consultation. Have a wonderful night.